Life is a sea of suffering. How to navigate it. Many burdens in life. How to overcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind Podcast, Buddhism. Life is a sea of suffering. No matter how fortunate someone may be, they cannot avoid challenges and hardships. The saying, life is a sea of suffering, though somewhat pessimistic, reflects an undeniable truth. Suffering is an inseparable part of each person's life. However, within that suffering, we also find valuable lessons and opportunities to grow. First of all, suffering is part of human nature. Life is not always beautiful, and people cannot escape sadness, loss, and pain. Everyone may encounter shocks along the way. Life is not always perfect, but it is the result of what you create. It is an ever-changing journey filled with highs and lows, challenges, and opportunities. Many people dream of a perfect life without suffering or failure, but in reality, perfection is only an abstract concept that is difficult to achieve. Nevertheless, life is precisely the result of what people create through their thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Perfection does not exist because life always contains factors beyond our control. We can plan carefully, but unexpected events may still occur. What matters is not avoiding difficulties, but how we face and resolve them. It is through failures that we become more mature and stronger. Each person's life reflects what they have created. A person with a positive mindset who works diligently and keeps striving will certainly have a more meaningful and fulfilling life than someone who constantly complains and blames circumstances. Instead of waiting for a perfect life, take the initiative to build one from the smallest things: an attitude of gratitude, compassion, a spirit of learning, and perseverance. Moreover, happiness is not a destination, but something we create each day. Some people are wealthy yet unhappy because they always feel something is missing. Conversely, there are those who live simply but still sense joy from the small things around them. Life depends largely on how we perceive and shape it. Life is not always perfect, but it can become meaningful through what we create. Live with a positive, proactive spirit and continuously develop yourself. Then, no matter what difficulties you face, you can still find value and happiness in your life. No one can avoid hurt and loss. Sometimes those wounds run deep in the soul, causing people to live in suffering and regret. However, the saying, "If you have been hurt in the past, do not carry that burden into the future," advises us to adopt a positive attitude. Let go of the past to move toward a better future. This saying emphasizes the necessity of releasing past sorrow. The past is what has happened and cannot be changed. If we cling to our wounds, we only make ourselves suffer, imprisoning ourselves in old pain. When someone is betrayed, fails, or suffers loss, if they live perpetually in torment, they cannot move forward. Therefore, letting go not only lightens our minds, but also creates an opportunity to find even greater happiness. Carrying past wounds into the future is like placing a burden on life's journey. When our hearts are heavy, it is difficult to open ourselves to new things. Imagine someone who has failed at work but remains immersed in regret and fear. They will not dare to try again, and that only hinders their own growth and causes them to miss future opportunities for success. However, letting go does not mean completely forgetting or denying what has happened. The past can be a valuable lesson that helps us mature. What matters is learning to accept, draw lessons, and continue moving forward with a more optimistic mindset. Overall, this saying delivers a positive message about facing hurt. Instead of being held back by the past, we should learn to forgive ourselves and others so we can walk the path ahead with a lighter and more peaceful heart. Let the past rest and allow the future to open up with bright possibilities. Cherish what has passed, but do not let it become chains that bind your steps. Life is meant to move forward, and the future only becomes truly beautiful when we know how to let go of what no longer belongs to us. Life is like a cup of tea. It has bitterness, astringency, but also sometimes a sweet aftertaste. Everyone will go through rainy days, moments of uncertainty, and unnamed pains. Yet, just as the bitterness of tea eventually dissipates to make way for a refreshing finish, life's difficulties will also recede, leaving us with growth and peace. Some days life forces us to taste a bitterness we never imagined. That may be failure at work, a dream unfulfilled, or relationships we thought would last forever. But those things eventually pass, like a sip of bitter tea that makes us grimace and causes our hearts to ache briefly. As time flows, we realize that bitterness does not last forever. It is a lesson that teaches us peace only comes to those who are patient enough to await it. In a cup of tea, bitterness is not the only flavor. After the first layer, we begin to taste a gentle, refreshing smoothness. Life is the same. After setbacks, we learn to smile in the face of challenge, to let go of what is unworthy, and to cherish what truly matters. We understand that every pain has its value. Every fall is an opportunity to become stronger. Looking back, happy people are not those who have never suffered, but those who know how to accept and move forward. Just as a cup of tea needs time to infuse, life requires patience to comprehend. Do not fear the bitter days, for they too will pass. When we learn to value both loss and joy, we find tranquility in our own hearts. Therefore, live peacefully, as one would savor a slow, refined tea ritual. This reminds us to savor each nuance that life offers, for no matter how difficult today is, tomorrow will be different. The bitterness will pass, leaving only a serene heart and a gentle smile on our lips. Let go of sorrow and clear your mind to welcome joy. Life inevitably involves suffering and worries. Within life's whirlwind, people often carry many anxieties, resentments, regrets, and disappointments. If these are not released, they become burdens that exhaust us. Therefore, learning to let go of suffering in order to prepare our hearts for joy is an important journey that helps each person live with tranquility and ease. Letting go does not mean avoiding or shirking responsibility, but accepting what has passed without clinging to negativity. Every event in life is a valuable lesson that helps us grow. When we accept reality without blaming fate or holding on to pain, our hearts feel lighter. The wounds of the past may arise from loss, failure, or harm caused by others. If we continue to live in suffering, we build a prison around our own souls. In contrast, when we learn to forgive and face difficulties with a smile, we realize that life still holds many beautiful things waiting for us. To welcome peace and joy, we need to cultivate a positive way of living. First, focus on what you have rather than mourning what you have lost. Gratitude helps you appreciate the present and find happiness in simple things. Then slow down, give yourself time, and savor the small yet meaningful moments in life. When the mind is at ease, you will more easily perceive joy in the simplest experiences. Connecting with people who bring positive energy is also crucial for releasing worries. Genuine conversations and warm smiles soothe the wounds of the heart. Remember that happiness does not come from outside, but springs from within each individual. When we learn to let go, our hearts open wide, and when the heart is open, joy naturally flows in. Learn to live gently, love yourself, and treasure every moment of your life. There are things in life the tighter we hold on, the more we lose. There are people the more we try to keep them, the more they drift away. Life turns according to the law of conditions. Meetings and partings come and go. When the time is right, people arrive on their own. When the time is over, forcing them only adds to sorrow. We often wonder why the things we long for never arrive. Why deep love cannot keep someone by our side. Why our greatest efforts still fall short of our hopes. Perhaps the simple answer is that the moment is not yet ripe. In life, some things arrive as gently as a breeze, while others remain beyond our reach no matter how hard we try. Like a flower, even if we water and nurture it every day, it will not bloom until the season arrives. Then, when the time is right, the flower unfolds its radiant petals. Human relationships are the same. Some connections seem eternal, yet one day we realize that not everyone who enters our lives will stay. Some people come to teach us lessons, some to help us mature, and some remain only in beautiful memories before closing that chapter. Learning to accept that not every desire will be fulfilled is itself a form of growth. When we let go of stubborn attachments, we discover how light the heart can be. When we cease constant wishing, we experience greater peace. What belongs to us will come in its own time, like birds returning to their nests at dusk. Instead of trying to cling to what is not ours, learn to live fully in the present and appreciate what you already have. When conditions arise, receive them with gratitude. When they depart, smile and bid them farewell. Everything in life has its purpose. Sometimes losing something does not mean losing it forever, but serves as an arrangement for us to embrace something better. Therefore, do not cling or long excessively. Just live well and remain at ease as life flows on. What is destined for you will arrive at the most fitting moment of your journey. People often become entangled in desires and things that are not theirs, only to sharpen their own suffering. When we fixate on what we cannot grasp or possess, we inadvertently create wounds in the soul, making life heavy and exhausting. Attachment to what is not ours causes us to lose serenity of heart. When we cling to a broken relationship, a past job, or fleeting material values, we imprison ourselves in negative thoughts and cannot open our hearts to new possibilities. For example, many people who have lost a precious love still cannot let go, remaining trapped in memories until they themselves suffer the most. Moreover, attachment robs us of both present and future. When we worry excessively about what is not ours, we fail to cherish what we already have. A person who craves fame but never attains it easily becomes envious and blames fate. Instead of striving to improve themselves, their fixation on the unattainable not only robs them of joy but also impedes their growth. So how do we let go and live in peace? First, recognize that everything in life is impermanent. Nothing belongs to us forever. When we understand impermanence, we learn to value what we have instead of suffering over what is lost. Additionally, practicing mindfulness and living fully in the present helps us find happiness in each moment rather than endlessly chasing after distant goals. In conclusion, attachment to what is not ours only brings more suffering. Learning to let go does not mean giving up, but freeing ourselves from meaningless bonds so our souls can be more liberated and at peace. By detaching from what is beyond our reach, we open the door to a lighter and happier life. Human life is like fragile smoke drifting through the vast world. Reputation, wealth, and status, all that we once pursued will eventually fade. When we depart this world, the only thing that remains is what we have given: love, compassion, and the good values we have left in the hearts of others. Life is inherently impermanent. No one knows what tomorrow will bring, and no one can cling to material things forever. Whether today we are rich or poor, powerful or ordinary, in the end we all return to dust. The only true measure is what we have done during our time here. There are those who spend their entire lives amassing wealth yet end up living in solitude, with no one to truly love or cherish them. Conversely, there are people who are not especially rich but are always ready to help others, living meaningful lives and leaving behind beautiful memories in the hearts of those they touch. Respect and love, acts of kindness and moments of sharing, are the most precious legacies one can leave, far more enduring than anything impermanent. Cherish every moment you have. Love and treat those around you sincerely, for affection is the one thing that never fades with time. Sow seeds of kindness so that life may grow richer and more beautiful for everyone. When we depart this world, we cannot take gold or possessions with us. What remains is the spiritual heritage of compassion, tolerance, and all the goodness we have done. A meaningful life is not measured by material wealth, but by what we have contributed and the hearts we have touched. Live so that when you look back there is no regret, and so that when you leave, your spirit drifts upwards like a gentle wisp of smoke into the blue sky. An attitude of gratitude and a heart of tolerance are two invaluable virtues. Life is not only a journey to pursue success, but also a process of refining character and nurturing the soul. Gratitude and tolerance help us live happily and build a better society. Gratitude means appreciating the good we receive from our parents, teachers, friends, even strangers. A grateful person always feels content because they understand that nothing is guaranteed. Every blessing deserves recognition. Gratitude brings inner peace and generates positive energy that radiates to those around us. When we are grateful, we treat others with love, respect, and goodwill. Yet in modern society, many have forgotten the value of gratitude, treating kindness as something owed rather than earned. This indifference can lead to selfishness. That is why teaching and cultivating gratitude from an early age is so important. If gratitude helps us value life, tolerance helps us live more serenely. Tolerance is the ability to understand, empathize with, and forgive the mistakes of others. No one is perfect, everyone errs. If we focus only on others' faults and refuse to forgive, we bind ourselves in resentment and suffering. A tolerant person lives gently and peacefully. They are not wounded by trivial matters, but remain generous, magnanimous, and calm. To cultivate gratitude and tolerance, begin with small actions. Say thank you, acknowledge others' efforts, learn to forgive, and put yourself in another's shoes. These two virtues allow each of us to live meaningfully and foster a kinder society. When we are grateful, we cherish life. When we are tolerant, we maintain serenity and happiness. Let us each practice these qualities to spread goodness in the world. In life's rush, we sometimes wonder, is it really worth being good? Does kindness bring any reward beyond sacrifice? Yet on reflection, we see that a kind person brings light to others and finds peace within their own heart. In a world of competition and calculation, some still choose kindness. They help not for reward, treat others sincerely not for gain. They may suffer loss, but their hearts remain at peace. Kindness is a white shield for the soul, allowing us to live tranquilly amid life's swirling currents. Kindness is not weakness or naivety, but a noble choice to treat others with sincerity. Even when life is unfair or others fail to appreciate us, what matters is keeping our hearts pure and untainted by evil. Kindness is not about giving to receive, but about keeping one's spirit free of petty regrets. Along life's path, we will meet those who exploit our goodwill. There will be times when giving feels exhausting because we see no return. But remember that kindness is like a seed sown in the earth today. We may not see it sprout at once, yet when the time is right, it will bloom in ways we never imagined. A smile, a word of encouragement, a small act can warm another's heart. Living kindly does not mean allowing others to hurt us, but rather not letting our hearts harden against negativity. Help when you can, and let go when you must. Love, but do not let your kindness become a burden. In doing so, you will live more peacefully. No more empty wishing, no more blame. Simply living with integrity toward yourself and the world. Some say that being good is difficult, that kindness only brings loss. Yet is that really so? Sometimes we help and receive betrayal. Sometimes we live sincerely only to meet indifference. That pain can make us doubt the value of kindness. But know that kindness is not foolishness nor weakness. It is strength, unspoiled by hatred or resentment. Kindness may not make us materially wealthy, but it grants us a life of lightness, free from the weight of evil. A kind person may not be loved by everyone, but they always have those who truly cherish and respect them. In a world full of uncertainty, they can still smile, knowing they have lived with honor. Furthermore, karma spares no one. Perhaps today the good you do goes unnoticed, but one day, at the right moment, blessings will return in ways you never expected. A timely word can change a life. A small deed can plant a seed of love in someone's heart. Kindness is like cool water on a sweltering summer day, like warm sunshine in the cold of winter. It not only warms others, but also warms ourselves. When we live with integrity, we don't have to worry too much, scheme, or calculate gains and losses. The simpler the heart, the more at ease our life becomes. So even if the world changes and people sometimes grow indifferent, never lose your kindness. Keep living sincerely. Keep facing life with a pure heart. For when we live kindly, we not only bring light to others, but also find peace within ourselves amid life's storms. Ultimately, kindness is not something lofty, but simply a pure heart, a heart that knows how to love. When our spirit is at peace and we live without regret for our actions, that is true serenity. No matter how the world may change, the kind person will always carry the lightest, happiest heart. Buddha once said, "The tears of sentient beings are more numerous than the four seas." This teaching carries profound sorrow and truth about the human condition. Across countless lifetimes, humans and all beings in the six realms have shed immeasurable tears. Tears of parting and separation, tears of pain and loss, tears of belated regret, tears of ignorance and confusion. From the moment we enter the world, our first breath is accompanied by tears, both a sign of life and the echo of a soul stepping into suffering. As we grow, each of us tastes our own suffering. Some weep for lost love, some for daily struggles, some for the passing of a dear one. No matter who we are or where we live, tears keep flowing. Look beyond humanity and you'll see every creature in pain. A caged bird utters mournful cries. A fish hauled from water thrashes in despair. An animal destined for slaughter cries out in agony. Every living being bears its own sorrow, and invisible tears have been shed through countless cycles of rebirth. Buddha taught that the root of all suffering lies in ignorance and attachment. Failing to grasp life's impermanence, we chase fame, wealth, and affection, forgetting our true selves. By clinging to what is not ours, we generate our own suffering. But if we understand the nature of all things, we will learn to let go. When the mind is tranquil, when longing and anger dissolve, tears will cease. Perhaps Buddha's words serve not only to remind us of life's sorrow, but to awaken us. If the tears of sentient beings truly exceed the 4 C's, then it is time for humanity to end its greed and pointless struggles. Learn to release, learn to love and forgive. Only then will tears stop and genuine peace emerge. Life is a long journey filled with countless beautiful things we endlessly pursue. Yet not everyone knows how to cherish what they have, to be content with the present, or to refrain from grasping what is not theirs. That ability is precious, allowing people to live more peacefully, serenely, and happily. First, contentment with the present helps us recognize the value of what we already possess. Many chase material gain and fame, forgetting they already have a warm family, a stable job, or simple joys. When we treasure the present, we find happiness in small things, easing pressure and stress. Moreover, not being greedy or seizing what does not belong to us reflects noble character in society. Some, driven by personal gain, harm others and rob themselves of inner peace. A righteous life is one where we are satisfied with what we have, live honestly and honorably, and do not covet. Experience shows that those content and unready tend to have lighter, more joyful hearts. They need not worry over distant desires or meaningless competitions. In contrast, those who relentlessly chase endless wants live in anxiety and never feel satisfied. In summary, being content with the present and refraining from grasping what is not ours is a beautiful, meaningful way to live. It brings peace, happiness, and the respect of those around us. In life's bustle, people often chase fame and forget the value of inner peace. But living serenely does not mean abandoning everything. It means accepting life, letting go of the unnecessary, and fully savoring each present moment. When we speak of letting go, we imagine unclenching our hands so something falls away. Letting go takes determination, not ease. Yet once we succeed, once we release our inner burdens, we feel incredible freedom and comfort. You might then realize life is short and that the things we couldn't reach seemed beautiful only because we knew so little of them. Like a vase filled with poison instead of calm. Why must we burden our hearts with worries? Harboring hatred is the greatest self-inflicted loss. Others may forgive more readily than you expect, but you must forgive yourself. Release the bitterness and move on. Bring compassion and gentleness when expressing grievances. Only then can others truly hear you. Instead of spending more energy scrutinizing others, spend a little less and reflect on yourself. Letting go does not mean giving up, but liberating ourselves from the invisible burdens we impose. When we learn to let go, we no longer allow pain, resentment, or the past to dictate the present. Letting go lightens our spirit and helps us live more peacefully here and now. Alongside letting go, love is also an art to learn. When we love rightly, we no longer cling to others with selfish expectations. Instead, we practice empathy and sharing. True love does not come from possession, but from respect and a genuine wish for each other's well-being. Forgiveness is a crucial step toward freeing ourselves from past wounds. Holding on to hatred only weighs us down and causes suffering. When we forgive, we not only help others, but also liberate ourselves. Forgiveness is not condoning wrongs, but releasing the burden of resentment so that our hearts may rest in peace. Learning to let go, learning to love, and learning to forgive are the keys to living a serene, joyful life. When our spirit is no longer entangled in negativity, we discover true freedom within. Are we truly living or merely existing? There are days we awaken with empty hearts, no joy, no passion, no drive. Each morning we plunge into busy routines, repeating familiar tasks like programmed machines. By nightfall, we return to restless sleep, trapped in a seemingly endless loop. But is this living or merely existing? We carry life's vastness without pause, only to one day wake and realize time has flown by, day after day, year after year. Have you ever asked yourself, am I living or just existing? To exist is to be swept up in life's grind and forget ourselves. We work not for purpose but merely to earn a living. We converse not to connect, but simply to reply. We view the world with numb eyes because endless worries leave no room for enjoyment. Existence is filled with if only and I wish, always awaiting a better tomorrow without daring to change today. We fear risk, fear failure, fear the unknown, and so day after day we walk only the safe path, never touching our dreams. But friend, if we continue like this, what meaning do the passing years hold when life is just a series of repetitions? We work out of duty, for bread and shelter, but our hearts feel hollow. No joy, no passion. In such days, we live as though we've lost ourselves. Day after day passes without stirring our hearts. We fail to savor each moment. We laugh without joy. We cry without being understood. We feel adrift in a vast world. To merely exist is to live without purpose, without anything truly exciting. Each day we chase society's treadmill, earning money, striving for what others deem success. Yet when we look back, we don't even know why we strove. We lose sight of life's beauty, the blue sky above, gentle sunbeams filtering through leaves, birdsong at dawn. None of these seem to move us. We live like breathing machines, walking without knowing where we're headed. To live, however, is to feel every moment of our presence in this world, to cherish the small wonders around us. A radiant sunset, a warm cup of tea, a genuine smile. It is to dare to love, to give, to pursue dreams. Even knowing challenges await, we pause to marvel at life when we watch sunrise and feel our hearts at peace. It is waking with eagerness in our hearts, excited to explore the world, not grudgingly facing another day's pressures. It is refusing to let days slip by meaningless, finding purpose in all we do, however small, but valuable. It is feeling gratitude for life, treasuring what we have rather than forever chasing distant goals and neglecting the present. Each of us has only one life to live. Every individual's experiences differ. Whether your life is rich or poor, whether your affections are fulfilled or not, you should fulfill your duties well and cherish those beside you. A lasting relationship requires both parties' efforts. A sincere friendship grows from mutual understanding. Never assume the most beautiful prospects lie elsewhere and neglect what's before you. Some affections, once gone, may never return. Some people, once turned away, may never cross our path again. Treasure every moment you have, every genuine sentiment, and whatever you possess to avoid regrets. The greatest tragedy is living a life too full. Blessings should not be consumed to exhaustion in the endless cycle of existence. Blessings are like a reservoir. If we only draw from it without replenishing, it will eventually run dry. We come to this world not only to enjoy goodness, but to learn to give, creating merit for ourselves and others. If we only indulge and never cultivate, even fortune will slip away, leaving us with regret and loss. Blessings are not something we can use forever without planting seeds. They arise from acts of kindness, from tolerance, gratitude, and sharing. One may be born into wealth and power, but if one lives selfishly without helping others, blessings will gradually wane. Conversely, those who understand karma constantly accumulate virtue and goodness, enjoying long lives of peace and abundance. History has proven this. Many who inherited great fortune but failed to sow virtue ended in ruin. Dissolute kings, miserly nobles brought low. Blessings are not fixed, they shift with every human action. Thus the wise know that enjoying blessings without creating new ones is unsustainable. So how do we preserve and nurture blessings? By living honestly and kindly, helping those in need, cultivating virtue, and remaining grateful for life. When we offer a smile, a good deed, a spirit of generosity, we plant seeds of blessing. A truly wealthy person is not merely one with many possessions, but one with a generous heart, sharing love like water in a lake. Blessings must be continuously nurtured so they never run dry. Live so that when you receive blessings, you use them meaningfully and sow more seeds of goodness, allowing your merit and virtue to grow ever greater. Only by understanding this law can one maintain lasting peace and happiness in life. Sharing and accumulating blessings is the path to true joy in Buddhist teachings. Blessings are not a fixed treasure, but an invisible energy that can grow or diminish depending on how we use it. When we use our blessings to help others, we not only benefit the world, but also multiply our own blessings. This is the natural law of cause and effect. Sincere sharing never exhausts blessings, it deepens them. Many mistakenly believe blessings are finite, but in Buddhism, they are infinite. They arise from generosity, compassion, and virtuous deeds. Just as one lamp never dims by lighting another, our blessings never fade when we plant new seeds of goodness. A wealthy person who hoards riches without helping anyone is like a sealed well that will eventually run dry. When we share our blessings, we create a stream of kindness in the universe, and that current will return to nourish us in ways we never imagined. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha teaches 3 noble forms of giving: material generosity, dana, sharing the Dhamma, panna dana, and offering fearlessness, abhya dana, by instilling peace in others. If we have wealth, let us use it to aid those in need. If we possess wisdom, let us enlighten others. If we carry compassion in our hearts, let us comfort the suffering. By doing so, we not only help the world, but also accumulate merit, laying the foundation for lasting happiness. A Buddhist tale tells of a miserly rich man who died, leaving behind only emptiness and regret, while a poor but generous man, though he gave only a meal or a comforting word, was reborn into a blissful realm thanks to the merit he sowed. This story teaches us that blessings lie not in what we store, but in how we use what we have to benefit others. Therefore, share whenever you can. Do not wait until you are well off to be kind. Goodness requires no great wealth. A smile, a kind word, a helpful gesture, all these sow seeds of blessing. When we live for the sake of others, we not only do good, but also cultivate beautiful conditions for ourselves. Sharing is not merely an act, but an attitude. When we view blessings as an ever-flowing river rather than a reservoir to hoard, we dwell in true peace and abundance, rich in spirit, in love, and in boundless blessings. An immutable law holds that when we give, we receive far more than we imagine. Giving encompasses not only material gifts, but also love, compassion, sharing, and empathy. These actions create life's true value and bring happiness to both giver and receiver. When we help someone, whether with an encouraging word, a caring gesture, or a tangible deed, we bring them joy and enrich our own souls. A smile, a thank you, or even a warm feeling in the heart is a precious gift we receive in return. Giving does not impoverish us. It reveals the value of our compassion, connects us to one another, and builds a better society. Moreover, by giving freely, we sow seeds of love whose blossoms will bless us in the future. Perhaps today we help someone, and tomorrow we will receive help when we need it. This is the law of karma. What we send out returns to us, perhaps not immediately, but surely. So do not hesitate to give. Offer love, share generously, and help others with sincerity, for only through giving can we truly receive life's highest treasures. Only by giving can we receive what we truly possess. Human beings cannot exist in isolation. We need connection and sharing with others. One of life's simplest yet most profound laws is that only by giving can we receive what we have. Giving brings joy to others and helps us grow, find happiness, and enrich our souls. Giving need not be grand. Sometimes a smile, a word of encouragement, or a sincere act of help is enough. An open heart that cares for others always receives love and gratitude in return. When we offer kindness, we not only help others, but also spread goodness. Moreover, giving helps us appreciate more deeply what we already have. When we willingly share, we learn gratitude and cherish life's simple pleasures. Those who give understand that happiness lies not in possession, but in sharing. The more we give, the more joy and abundance we feel in our hearts. Furthermore, life's laws operate in wondrous ways. When we give sincerely, life responds with blessings in unexpected forms. A selfless person who helps others will receive love, respect, and precious opportunities in return. In summary, giving is not only an action but a noble philosophy of life. When we open our hearts, share love, and help others, we receive far more than we ever hoped. Live with a spirit of sharing, for in giving we find true happiness and life's real value. Knowing when to stop, the key to preserving one's blessings. There is an important lesson not everyone learns early: knowing when to stop. This isn't just self-control but wisdom that allows a person to live peacefully and avoid the consequences of unchecked desires. When we chase after excessive indulgence, we hurt ourselves and gradually squander the blessings we have accumulated. Desire itself is natural. Everyone wants happiness, success, and wealth. But without boundaries, those yearnings can turn into greed, leaving us never feeling satisfied. A person who endlessly pursues fame and fortune lives in a constant state of anxiety, fearing the loss of what they have. This inability to recognize enough steals their peace and leads them to sacrifice time, health, and moral values for fleeting pleasures. History shows many who, intoxicated by indulgence, veered onto destructive paths. After tasting a little success, they crave more: luxury, comfort. Yet overindulgence often brings a careless lifestyle and loss of control, resulting in material and spiritual ruin. Many wealthy people remain unhappy because their hearts waver and their satisfaction is never complete. This not only robs them of inner tranquility, but also erodes the blessings they once built. According to the law of karma, blessings arise from virtuous deeds, ethical living, helping others, and cultivating the heart. When someone becomes so immersed in pleasure that they forget to do good, they deplete their own blessings. Wealth that is hoarded rather than shared slowly wears away, and future life becomes fraught with obstacles. So how do we learn to stop at the right moment? First, cultivate the mind by understanding impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Everything arises and passes away. When we attain something, appreciate it instead of chasing after something even grander. Second, live meaningfully by sharing and aiding others rather than remaining self-centered. Finally, set aside time for reflection, embrace simplicity, and nurture moral values. Knowing when to stop doesn't mean renouncing everything, but living with awareness, recognizing what is enough and where our limits lie, to safeguard our blessings and inner peace. When we know sufficiency, we stop seeking happiness outside and discover it along life's journey. We lose gratitude for what we already have. A person who desperately chases status yet cannot attain it easily falls into jealousy and resentment instead of striving forward. Clinging to the unattainable not only steals life's joy, but also hinders personal growth. How then do we let go and live in peace? First, realize that everything is impermanent. Nothing belongs to us forever. Understanding impermanence teaches us to cherish the present rather than grieve over what is lost. Additionally, practicing mindfulness and living fully in the now helps us find happiness in each moment rather than endlessly chasing distant goals. In short, clinging to what is not ours only creates more suffering. Learning to release is not giving up, but liberating ourselves from meaningless bonds so our souls can be freer and more at ease. When we stop grasping after what lies beyond our reach, we can live more gently and happily. An old parable tells of a man sheltering beneath an eave in the rain. He saw Guanyin Bodhisattva walking by, holding an umbrella, and implored, "Guanyin Bodhisattva, please let me share your umbrella for a while." Guanyin replied, "I stand in the rain, while you stand under this eave that is dry, so you need no rescue." The man then ran out into the rain and asked again, "Now that I stand in the rain, may I borrow your umbrella?" Guanyin said, "Now both you and I stand in the rain. I remain dry because I have the umbrella, but you are wet because you have none. It is the umbrella that rescues me, not I rescuing you. If you want salvation, seek the umbrella." With that, Guanyin departed. The next day, the man faced another dilemma and came to the temple to seek Guanyin. Inside, he saw someone identical to Guanyin bowing before the statue and asked, "Are you Guanyin?" The figure answered, "Yes." Why was Guanyin bowing to herself? Because she faced difficulties but understood that begging others is no match for relying on oneself. From this story, we learn that in life's storms, we must primarily depend on ourselves. Begging others helps less than we urging ourselves forward. Disregarding speech, sight, or hearing brings only fleeting peace. True freedom comes from relinquishing the ego, an umbrella of shade wherever we go, an inner home in the human realm. When we have a little, we want more. When we have more, we want still more. But when we lose everything, we suddenly realize, if only I still had just a bit, that would have been enough. As the saying goes, he who knows contentment is always content. Knowing when to stop is one of the keys to unlocking lasting peace. Life is not a race, but a journey in which we gradually uncover its meaning. The reward lies not in the destination, but in what we experience along the way. Do you believe that only at our last breath do we recognize that we ever truly lived? Therefore, we must be mindful of each breath now. Otherwise, we do not live, but merely exist. Some wake from a long sleep and feel more mature when they realize they have two hands, one to help themselves, the other to help others. What becomes of a flower blooming deep in the forest, unseen and unsmelled, its beauty unpraised and its joy unshared? Does the flower perish? Does it suffer? Does it despair? No. It simply blooms and offers its fragrance to the breeze. Whether anyone passes by to admire it matters not. It gives its scent and joy to the boundless whole. Have you truly found serenity? Do we live simply like a flower, innocent, blooming, and spreading fragrance in the deep wood? Life's ups and downs are eternal. Moments of stillness, eyes gentle, hearts open wide. A single day can feel infinite. There will be times when our spirit is empty, even atop success. Happiness lies in love and understanding, in sharing and compassion. One day we live in luxury. The next we return empty-handed with nothing held dear. We lament life's changes. Once we laughed carefree, now tears flow unbidden. What seem like storms are but illusions. This morning's sunrise is bright after last night's tempest. When sorrow lingers, do not close your heart. Look at the white clouds drifting by. What forms must also disperse. Yet most people never welcome storms. Humanity suffers because we cling to permanence when life's nature is impermanence. There are moments when, faced with the devastation of impermanence, people feel as if they are about to collapse. However, if one internalizes the philosophy of dependent origination, one realizes that one has long enjoyed too many gifts from the universe, and now the universe is simply reclaiming a little to share with others. That is natural. There is nothing unjust about it. On the other hand, there are those who disregard the suffering of others for their own gain, to gratify themselves. Thus, the gain and joy of one person always conceal the loss and sorrow of another. But why dwell on society's dark side, when such is the nature of the world? Only by knowing how to let go, and being able to do so, can the heart find peace. All suffering and happiness arise from the mind, and also dissolve by the mind. Therefore, the state of our mind determines how we perceive our own lives. In Buddhism, it is said that appearance arises from the mind and circumstances are transformed by the mind. This means that a person's failure is not necessarily due to a lack of ability or opportunity, but because they have convinced themselves that they cannot succeed. When they encounter suffering, the mind's fear of difficulty and pain leads them to accept resignation and submission. A person with a generous and compassionate heart will not see hardship as an injustice to themselves. They will not complain or resent others or heaven, but will maintain a calm mind and continually strive through learning and work to change their circumstances. The great inventor Thomas Edison summed up from his own life experience that genius is 1 part innate talent and 90% sweat and tears. Faced with difficulties and suffering, some will falter and some will collapse. But there will also be those who have the courage to keep going. Every hardship and obstacle on our life's path is a precious opportunity to train a resilient will and a serene inner mind, preparing us to reap greater achievements in the future. In this life, each person can choose the work they enjoy and the place where they want to live, but they cannot choose their origins. Some are born into affluent families, while others into impoverished ones. Some come from civilized, prosperous, and peaceful nations, and others are born into war-torn lands beset by deprivation. It is the force of karma, both good and bad, that causes people to be born into these different conditions. However, anyone's living conditions can change. A person born into wealth who is intent only on spending money and unwilling to earn it will gradually decline. Conversely, someone born into poverty who continually strives can gradually rise to prosperity. Former U.S. Vice President Wilson came from a poor family. Guided by an unceasingly ambitious heart, he steadily escaped destitution and rose to the heights of success. The path of life and the path of spiritual practice share a key point. Both require us to be persistent, patient, and to make continuous effort. If someone pursues spiritual practice with a mindset of seeking ease and laxity, someone who is easily pleased and just as easily saddened, in other words, someone often enraptured by fame, material gain, and other temporary pleasures, and does not endeavor to cultivate diligently and overcome their own unwholesome karma, they will find little progress. There is a saying that everything is only mind. As each year passes, do not blame your life for remaining stagnant. Instead, observe how much your mindset has transformed. Soft sunlight drapes the hillside at dusk. Through the slow shadows of time, flutter the diligent shrubs fall asleep, and the mind's thoughts drift upon worldly sorrow. The source of happiness lies in the way we think about people and the events in our lives. Cultivate the following ways of thinking to build a long-lasting life of ease and tranquility. In our lives, we cannot avoid being judged or mocked for our flaws. Rather than inviting discomfort, we can learn to laugh at these very points. That is a way to show that you are perfectly confident in your own imperfection. Only by acknowledging oneself can one progress more easily. It is normal for you to disagree with others. You do not need to change your views if they differ from everyone else's. You only need to live without harming yourself or others, and without shame before your conscience. There are also those whom life favors more than many others. This is no one's fault. We must accept this difficult truth that life is inherently unfair. Strive diligently every day toward your goals. If you do not reach the destination you desire, at least you will have moved beyond where you once stood. You should also understand that you will never have everything you want at every stage of life. You will passionately desire one thing or another. Even when you have what you want, you will want something else. What matters is that you learn to be content with what you have so that you feel less stressed. Each day we must choose what we should and should not do. Consider carefully before making decisions to avoid wasting time on unworthy matters. Everything has two sides, so do not be quick to believe stories told from only one perspective. Do not let the glamorous images on social media enchant you. Investigate everything thoroughly before placing your trust. Those who choose deceitful ways of living may achieve success more quickly, but only those who choose to be good can endure a long journey. Be a good person, no matter how badly life may treat you. Simply because being good first ensures a peaceful sleep, with no fear that any of your wrongdoings will be exposed. If you expect others to bring happiness to you, rest assured you will face long disappointment. Love life and people without expecting anything in return. In this way, you will always have peace of mind. Live in such a way that you have no shame before your own heart. Even if people forsake you across the river, even if flowers do not bloom for you, why expect the stream to flow upstream? Live a full human life. Joy and sorrow will pass swiftly. Spring will stir the leaves waiting for autumn to fall. Live to love and live with ease. Have you ever tried to sit quietly and observe the world? Perhaps you will realize that life never ceases to change, as if waves continuously crash upon the shore. Periods of worry and unrest often outnumber periods of joy and peace. Perhaps that is why some hold a newspaper and say no news is good news. But even living in calm waters, many still do not consider that happiness. They cannot sit still without stirring up inner storms, so they feel they exist, and so they draw the attention of others. One of the secrets to living in peace and happiness is knowing how to simplify complex problems, serenely accept everything, and fully enjoy each peaceful, joyful moment in life here and now. Do not complicate simple matters. Which poetic soul picks up tales of sorrow when they appear? Rain then sun, sun then rain, life remains the same. Only when pain awakens in our own heart do we suffer. Observe how all things carried along the flowing stream remain carefree and beautiful, embracing impermanence. Every day we must face countless disappointments, annoyances, and situations beyond our control. We cannot always prevent unwanted events. It is better to learn to grow accustomed to them and gradually come to accept them with joy. Cultivate patience, tolerance, and generosity. Strive to view yourself and others with kinder, gentler eyes. In the Aham scriptures, the Buddha taught that a person who practices goodness is like the moon, and a person who does evil is also like the moon. Why is this? Because the virtuous person, like the moon from the 1st to the 14th night, grows ever brighter. The evil person, like the moon from the full moon to the 30th night, gradually wanes into darkness. Every human being has a certain share of fortune, like the moon shining with corresponding merit. If we fail to nurture that merit and instead accumulate unwholesome deeds, we will be like the moon fading into darkness after the full moon. How sad that is. But if we cherish and cultivate our bright moon, letting our goodness grow ever stronger, we will be like the moon that brightens from the first night to the full moon. How precious that is. In life, honesty and integrity are always essential. Kindness is the moonlight of the soul. That gentle light can illuminate the spirit's sky, transform hearts, and touch all who walk beneath its glow. A benevolent thought is a seed. A kind heart is a flower. A virtuous deed is a fruit. Each person is born carrying a seed of goodness. If it is tended and watered each day, it can grow into a mighty tree. But some lose that seed and become cold and indifferent. Others soil it and become heartless and cruel. No one can do without kindness, and no heart is beyond the power of compassion. Even the hardest steel-like hearts, as cold as ice, will one day soften and warm under a spark of benevolence. Doing good is not like depositing money in a bank. The truly kind person cares not for profit or reward. The highest realm of kindness is not caring about results or recompense for one's good deeds. Last night, a leaf departed life, and a little bird stood restless, spreading its wings under a lonely, sorrowful bough. The bird's body lay there. Its spirit had flown into the eternal cycle of rebirth. The bird and the leaf were once close friends. Who would have guessed that a little worldly affection could bring so much hardship between them? One day the leaf suddenly withered. The bird's frail song ceased, its golden shell gone. The word love binds the human world. Escaping it is not easy. How many lives after lives must pass before souls meet again, weaving dreams that fade and leave the heart sorrowful. The bird fell into the realm of the dead, while the leaf drifted far away to the mountaintop. Leaf and bird now dwell in two places. The bird fell without lament or word. Love builds a mountain wall that divides one shore from another. In the grand course of ages, what is this thing called love, still causing pain after countless lifetimes? Those who see life as a battlefield will always encounter conflict. Those who see life as a journey will always appreciate the scenery. Those who view life as clouds constantly changing shape will remain calm before change. Life is such. There seems to be no right or wrong, only accepting happiness that flows with the conditions or suffering. Being stuck depends on our own attitude when facing a life full of shifting rain and sun. Often in failure, we discover the preciousness of humility and patience. In success, we learn the value of courage and faith. In meeting many people, we find the worth of sincere friendship. In facing adversity, we appreciate understanding and tolerance. In gaining fame and wealth, we recognize the importance of detachment and making light of conflict. In hardship, we learn the preciousness of harmony and forgiveness. In misfortune, we uncover the need to cultivate the mind and nurture character. In letting go, we find peace and tranquility. In encountering deceit, we treasure simple honesty. Knowing how to forget what makes us unhappy and how to distance ourselves from places and people that demean us marks the one who truly knows how to live.